Public interest in Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet remains intense, largely because their relationship sits at the intersection of two very different worlds within modern celebrity culture. Jenner represents one of the most powerful personal brands in the digital age, while Chalamet embodies a new generation of actors who balance mainstream success with artistic credibility. When rumors of a breakup began circulating, the story quickly evolved into more than gossip. It became a broader conversation about privacy, fame, and how celebrity relationships are interpreted in the social media era. Industry insiders point out that the speed at which the breakup narrative spread was driven less by concrete evidence and more by absence. In today's media landscape, silence is often treated as confirmation. When Jenner and Chalamet stopped appearing together publicly for a short period, speculation filled the gap. Fan accounts dissected old photos, entertainment blogs tracked their separate schedules, and anonymous claims were amplified without verification. This pattern, experts say, reflects a growing tendency to equate constant visibility with relationship stability. The recent sighting of Jenner and Chalamet together disrupted that narrative almost instantly. Entertainment outlets that had previously hinted at a split were quick to revise their tone, shifting from speculative language to cautious reassessment. Headlines that once questioned the future of the relationship began emphasizing reconciliation, continuity, and renewed closeness. The change underscored how fragile rumor-based reporting can be when confronted with tangible evidence. According to people familiar with the couple's dynamic, Jenner and Chalamet have intentionally avoided defining their relationship through public milestones. There has been no official announcement, no carefully staged debut, and no coordinated social media strategy. This lack of performative validation, while refreshing to some observers, has also made their relationship more vulnerable to misinterpretation. Without a steady stream of curated images, the public has fewer reference points, allowing speculation to thrive. From a business perspective, Jenner's approach to privacy marks a notable evolution. As a member of one of the most documented families in entertainment history, she has built her empire in full view of the public. In recent years, however, she has shown a clear shift towards setting boundaries, particularly around her children and romantic life. Sources suggest that her relationship with Chalamet accelerated this change, reinforcing the value of discretion in preserving personal stability. For Chalamet, the situation aligns with his long-standing preference for keeping his private life out of headlines. Despite his global fame and devoted fan base, he has consistently resisted turning relationships into publicity tools. Colleagues describe him as intensely focused on craft, often retreating from the spotlight between projects. The decision to maintain a low profile with Jenner is seen as consistent with his broader approach to fame. Cultural commentators note that the reaction to the breakup rumors reveals as much about audience expectations as it does about the couple themselves. In an age of constant updates, fans often feel entitled to access and explanations. When those expectations are not met, narratives are constructed to fill the void. Jenner and Chalamet's case illustrates how quickly assumption can become perceived fact, even in the absence of confirmation. The renewed attention has also reignited discussion about how celebrity couples are categorized. Jenner and Chalamet do not fit neatly into familiar archetypes. They are not a traditional power couple built on joint appearances, nor are they entirely hidden from view. Instead, they occupy a middle ground that challenges conventional media framing. This ambiguity has made their relationship particularly compelling, and particularly prone to rumor. Media analysts argue that the couple's latest appearance together serves as a reminder that visibility should not be mistaken for authenticity. A single, unguarded moment can sometimes reveal more than months of curated content. In this case, the ease and comfort observed between Jenner and Chalamet carried more weight than any anonymous quote or speculative report. As attention continues to build, questions remain about how long the current calm will last. History suggests that as soon as the couple retreats from public view again, speculation may resurface. Yet supporters believe that Jenner and Chalamet have already demonstrated their willingness to let actions speak for themselves, rather than engaging in reactive clarifications. Within the broader context of celebrity culture, their situation highlights a shifting dynamic. More public figures are beginning to push back against the expectation of constant disclosure, redefining what it means to be visible. Jenner and Chalamet's relationship, intentionally or not, has become a case study in this evolving boundary between public interest and private life. For now, the immediate conclusion is clear. The rumors that once dominated conversation have lost momentum, replaced by evidence that suggests continuity rather than collapse. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet remain together, navigating fame on their own terms. Whether this approach will continue to challenge traditional media narratives remains to be seen, but their recent appearance has already left a lasting impression. In an environment where speculation often outpaces fact, their story stands as a reminder that not every silence signals an ending. Sometimes, it simply reflects a choice to step back, to protect something meaningful, and to let reality quietly contradict rumor. The aftermath of the renewed public sighting has continued to ripple through entertainment media, reinforcing the idea that Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet are deliberately redefining how a high-profile relationship can exist under constant scrutiny. Rather than addressing speculation head-on, the couple has allowed their continued presence in each other's lives to function as a quiet rebuttal to rumors, a strategy that stands in contrast to the more performative responses often seen in celebrity culture. Entertainment journalists note that this approach reflects a broader shift among A-list figures who are increasingly wary of how narratives can spiral once they are fed into the online ecosystem. In Jenner's case, years of intense exposure have demonstrated how easily personal moments can be reframed, exaggerated, or weaponized for clicks. With Chalamet, whose career trajectory depends heavily on critical perception as well as mainstream appeal, avoiding unnecessary tabloid drama is widely viewed as a professional necessity. Observers also point out that the breakup rumors emerged during a period when both individuals were exceptionally busy. Jenner was deeply involved in business expansions and brand-related commitments, while Chalamet's filming schedule reportedly kept him moving between locations for extended stretches. In traditional relationships, such distance might barely raise eyebrows, but in celebrity relationships, physical absence is often misinterpreted as emotional separation. What followed was a familiar pattern. Social media accounts dedicated to celebrity news began connecting unrelated dots, fans debated timelines, and speculation snowballed into assumed fact. By the time major outlets began repeating the narrative, the idea of a breakup had already solidified in the public imagination. Despite the lack of confirmation from either party, the couple's decision not to intervene directly is now being analyzed as a calculated form of media literacy. By refusing to validate rumors with a response, Jenner and Chalamet avoided prolonging the story cycle. Their eventual appearance together achieved the same result more effectively, collapsing weeks of speculation into a single, unmistakable visual counterpoint. From a cultural standpoint, the situation has reignited discussion about how audiences consume celebrity news. Analysts argue that modern fandom often oscillates between intense attachment and rapid disillusionment, driven by the pace of digital platforms. In this environment, relationships are expected to be constantly legible, updated, and explained. Jenner and Chalamet's opacity disrupts that expectation, creating discomfort that quickly turns into conjecture. Their relationship has also prompted renewed interest in how celebrity couples manage asymmetrical fame. While both are globally recognized, their public personas function differently. Jenner's influence is deeply tied to visibility, branding, and lifestyle representation. Chalamet's influence, by contrast, is rooted in performance, awards recognition, and selective public engagement. Balancing these modes requires negotiation, and sources suggest that mutual respect for each other's boundaries has been central to their dynamic. The renewed focus has not gone unnoticed by brands and industry insiders. High-profile relationships often influence public perception, marketability, and media narratives. In this case, however, Jenner and Chalamet's refusal to commodify their romance has been interpreted as a sign of long-term thinking rather than missed opportunity. Maintaining credibility and personal stability, analysts argue, can ultimately be more valuable than short-term attention. As the conversation evolves, some commentators have begun framing the couple as emblematic of a quieter, more controlled era of celebrity relationships. Rather than feeding the content cycle with constant updates, they appear comfortable allowing interest to ebb and flow naturally. This restraint, once considered risky, is increasingly being recognized as a form of influence in itself. Despite the renewed calm, the story remains far from over. Public fascination with Jenner and Chalamet shows no sign of fading, and future periods of separation or silence may once again spark speculation. What has changed, however, is the context. The recent confirmation of their continued closeness has introduced a counter-narrative that will likely temper future assumptions. For now, the prevailing assessment across major entertainment outlets is that reports of a breakup were premature and unfounded. Kylie Jenner and Timothee Chalamet remain a couple navigating extraordinary visibility with deliberate restraint. Their response to rumor, measured, nonverbal, and grounded in reality, has reshaped the conversation, at least temporarily. In the broader media landscape, their story serves as a reminder of how easily perception can drift from fact, and how swiftly it can be corrected by authenticity. In an industry built on exposure, choosing when not to speak can be as powerful as any statement. And in this case, that choice has allowed a relationship to continue on its own terms, quietly contradicting a narrative that once seemed inevitable. As coverage continues to expand, many media outlets are now reassessing how the initial breakup narrative gained so much traction in the first place. Editors and analysts alike acknowledge that the story surrounding Kylie Jenner and Timothee Chalamet became a textbook example of how modern celebrity news cycles operate: speed over certainty, speculation over confirmation. Once the idea of a split entered public discourse, it spread rapidly, reinforced by algorithms that reward engagement rather than accuracy. Several entertainment reporters have since noted that no credible primary source ever confirmed a separation. Instead, the rumors were largely driven by interpretation, missed appearances, independent travel schedules, and a noticeable reduction in shared visibility. In hindsight, these elements reflected logistical realities rather than emotional distance. Yet in the absence of direct statements, assumption filled the void. The renewed visibility of Jenner and Chalamet has prompted a quieter but meaningful shift in tone across entertainment journalism. Language has become more cautious, qualifiers more prominent. Rather than declaring outcomes, outlets are increasingly emphasizing observable facts. This recalibration suggests a recognition that the couple's relationship does not conform to predictable media rhythms, and therefore resists easy categorization. Sources close to the situation describe the relationship as stable, private, and intentionally low drama. According to these accounts, both Jenner and Chalamet are acutely aware of how narratives can affect not only public perception but also mental well-being. Choosing not to engage with rumor cycles is said to be a mutual agreement, rooted in the belief that longevity depends on insulation from constant external commentary. From a psychological perspective, experts note that high-profile couples often experience amplified stress due to perceived public ownership of their personal lives. In this context, Jenner and Chalamet's restraint can be seen as a protective mechanism. By limiting access, they reduce the emotional volatility that accompanies public speculation. Their approach aligns with a growing trend among celebrities who seek to compartmentalize fame rather than allow it to dominate every aspect of their identity. The discussion has also broadened into a larger examination of how celebrity relationships are consumed as narrative entertainment. Audiences are conditioned to expect arcs, beginnings, climaxes, crises, resolutions. When a relationship does not provide these markers, viewers often manufacture them. Jenner and Chalamet's refusal to perform these stages publicly disrupts that expectation, resulting in frustration that often manifests as rumor. Industry veterans point out that this phenomenon is not new, but its intensity has increased alongside social media. Platforms accelerate speculation, turning minor observations into definitive conclusions within hours. In this environment, discretion can paradoxically make a relationship appear more unstable than one that is constantly showcased. Jenner and Chalamet's experience illustrates this contradiction clearly. Despite this, public sentiment has gradually shifted in their favor. Online discussions that once focused on breakup theories now increasingly criticize the speed with which those theories were accepted. Fans and commentators alike are calling for more responsible reporting, urging outlets to distinguish clearly between verified information and conjecture. The couple's silence, once framed as suspicious, is now more often interpreted as intentional and healthy. The renewed attention has also highlighted how differently Jenner and Chalamet handle fame individually. Jenner's public persona has always been intertwined with visibility, yet she has demonstrated an evolving ability to control that exposure. Chalamet, meanwhile, continues to maintain a degree of separation between his professional success and private life. Together, they represent a hybrid model of celebrity, one that blends openness with selective withdrawal. As the narrative continues to unfold, questions about the future naturally arise. Will Jenner and Chalamet eventually choose to share more of their relationship publicly, or will they continue to resist external pressure? Observers suggest that their current strategy indicates a long-term mindset, one that prioritizes sustainability over spectacle. If so, their relationship may remain intermittently visible, surfacing only when circumstances align naturally. For now, the evidence available points toward continuity rather than conclusion. The couple's recent appearance has recalibrated public understanding, transforming what was once framed as an ending into a pause misinterpreted by a hyper-observant audience. In doing so, it has exposed the fragility of rumor-driven narratives and the enduring power of simple, observable reality. In the end, the story of Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet is less about confirming or denying a breakup and more about redefining the rules of engagement between celebrities and the public. Their relationship continues, not loudly or defensively, but steadily and on their own terms. And in an era dominated by instant conclusions, that quiet persistence has proven to be the most compelling statement of all. The sustained interest surrounding Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet has also sparked deeper conversations within the entertainment industry about credibility, timing, and responsibility in celebrity reporting. Media strategists note that once a narrative gains momentum, correcting it becomes significantly more difficult, even when new information emerges. In this case, the reappearance of Jenner and Chalamet together did not merely soften speculation, it forced a reassessment of how easily assumption had replaced verification. Several editors from major entertainment platforms have since acknowledged, off the record, that the breakup rumors were driven by competitive pressure. In a 24-hour news cycle where being first often outweighs being precise, subtle shifts in celebrity behavior are frequently magnified into definitive conclusions. Jenner and Chalamet's relationship, largely shielded from constant updates, became an easy target for this dynamic. The episode has also renewed discussion about audience participation in rumor culture. Fans are no longer passive consumers of celebrity news. They actively shape narratives through reposts, commentary, and speculative analysis. In the case of Jenner and Chalamet, fan communities played a significant role in amplifying early breakup theories, analyzing body language from old photos and tracking timelines with forensic intensity. When the narrative flipped, those same communities rapidly adjusted, demonstrating how fluid public perception can be. From a reputational standpoint, both Jenner and Chalamet appear largely unaffected. Analysts suggest that their individual brands are resilient enough to absorb short-term speculation without long-term damage. Jenner's business empire continues to expand, and Chalamet's career remains firmly on an upward trajectory. If anything, the renewed attention has reinforced their relevance, reminding audiences of their influence across different sectors of popular culture. At the same time, the situation underscores the emotional toll such scrutiny can impose. Mental health advocates have pointed out that constant speculation about personal relationships can create an environment of chronic stress for public figures. While Jenner and Chalamet have not spoken publicly about the rumors, their silence aligns with a growing emphasis on boundaries as a form of self-preservation rather than avoidance. The contrast between perception and reality in this case has also resonated with audiences beyond celebrity culture. Commentators have drawn parallels to everyday relationships, noting how absence, silence, or lack of visible affirmation can be misinterpreted even outside the public eye. Jenner and Chalamet's experience, magnified by fame, reflects a broader social tendency to equate visibility with validity. As the narrative stabilizes, attention has turned toward how the couple may handle future public moments. Industry watchers predict that Jenner and Chalamet will continue to appear together selectively, avoiding predictable patterns that invite analysis. This unpredictability, while fueling curiosity, also reduces the likelihood of sustained speculation based on routine behavior. There is also growing recognition that the couple's relationship challenges traditional celebrity storytelling. Without dramatic statements, staged reconciliations, or public conflict, their story lacks the elements that typically drive prolonged coverage. Instead, it unfolds quietly, resisting easy summarization. For media outlets, this presents both a challenge and an opportunity to reconsider how relationship news is framed. In the weeks following their appearance together, coverage has gradually shifted toward a more measured tone. Rather than framing the relationship as fragile or uncertain, reports now emphasize continuity and mutual choice. This evolution suggests that the initial intensity of the breakup rumors may have exhausted itself, replaced by cautious acknowledgement rather than definitive claims. Ultimately, the story of Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet illustrates the volatility of modern celebrity narratives. It shows how quickly absence can be interpreted as loss, and how swiftly that interpretation can be overturned by a single moment of visibility. More importantly, it highlights the power of restraint in an environment that thrives on reaction. As public attention moves on to new headlines, the lasting takeaway remains clear. Jenner and Chalamet did not counter rumors with words, but with presence. In doing so, they reframed the conversation, not only about their relationship but about the expectations placed on public figures to constantly explain themselves. For now, the prevailing consensus across entertainment media is steady rather than sensational. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet are still together, continuing their relationship away from unnecessary spectacle. Their story, shaped as much by silence as by visibility, stands as a reminder that in the modern media landscape, not every truth arrives with an announcement. Sometimes, it simply appears, and that is enough. Beyond the immediate media reaction, the situation involving Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet has increasingly been cited in discussions about the sustainability of celebrity relationships in an era defined by constant exposure. Publicists and brand consultants note that the couple's handling of the rumors reflects a calculated awareness of how narratives evolve and fade. Rather than feeding speculation with reactive statements, they allowed the news cycle to correct itself, demonstrating confidence in both their relationship and public perception. This approach contrasts sharply with past celebrity breakups, where rapid-fire statements, exclusive interviews, or strategic leaks were often used to control damage. In this case, the absence of commentary became part of the message. By refusing to validate unconfirmed claims, Jenner and Chalamet effectively shortened the lifespan of the rumor once tangible evidence emerged. Entertainment analysts also point out that the timing of the rumors coincided with heightened attention on both figures individually. Jenner's business ventures continue to dominate headlines, while Chalamet's film projects keep him firmly in the public eye. When two high-profile careers accelerate simultaneously, personal lives often become secondary to professional narratives. That imbalance can easily be misread as emotional distance, particularly by audiences conditioned to expect constant joint visibility. As coverage broadened, several outlets began reframing the story not as a romance in crisis, but as an example of modern relationship boundaries. In this framing, Jenner and Chalamet represent a growing cohort of public figures who reject the idea that personal milestones must be shared in real time. Their relationship is not hidden, but it is not curated for consumption either, existing somewhere between public acknowledgement and private reality. The reaction from fans has mirrored this shift. Initial disappointment and concern gave way to relief and validation, particularly among those who had questioned the breakup narrative from the start. Many supporters emphasized that the couple had never announced a separation, arguing that assumptions were driven by impatience rather than evidence. This reversal has fueled broader conversations about media literacy and the responsibility of audiences to question unverified claims. Meanwhile, industry insiders suggest that Jenner and Chalamet's relationship may benefit from its very ambiguity. By not defining their status through labels or announcements, they retain flexibility and autonomy. This ambiguity limits the ability of external voices to dictate the narrative, allowing the couple to move forward without the burden of public expectation at every stage. The renewed calm surrounding the story has also highlighted how quickly celebrity news cycles move on. As attention shifts to other headlines, the intensity of scrutiny surrounding Jenner and Chalamet has noticeably decreased. What once seemed like a defining moment for their relationship has now been absorbed into the broader rhythm of entertainment news, reinforcing the idea that speculation is often fleeting. Still, the episode leaves a lasting imprint. It underscores how easily absence can be interpreted as loss, and how silence can be mistaken for confirmation. For Jenner and Chalamet, the experience appears to have reinforced their commitment to discretion, validating their decision to engage selectively with the public eye. Looking ahead, observers expect that the couple will continue navigating visibility on their own terms. Occasional appearances may confirm continuity, while extended periods of privacy will likely invite curiosity without necessarily reigniting controversy. The balance they have struck, between acknowledgement and restraint, may become a model for other high-profile relationships seeking longevity over spectacle. In the broader context of celebrity culture, this story serves as a case study in narrative control through non-engagement. It demonstrates that not every rumor requires rebuttal, and that authenticity can emerge organically when given space. Jenner and Chalamet did not attempt to reshape perception through words. They allowed reality to surface naturally. As the dust settles, one conclusion remains consistent across credible reporting. Kylie Jenner and Timothee Chalamet have not gone their separate ways. Instead, they continue their relationship quietly, deliberately, and largely insulated from the volatility of public opinion. In an industry built on constant disclosure, that choice has proven both effective and revealing. Ultimately, the episode highlights a simple but often overlooked truth about modern fame. Visibility is not the same as truth, and absence is not evidence of an ending. In allowing time and context to speak for them, Jenner and Chalamet have reaffirmed their relationship without spectacle, leaving behind a narrative that is less about rumor and more about resilience in the face of relentless attention.